Senator Hickenlooper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Secretary Granholm, let me just first say it's always a pleasure to have a former governor before us, because I don't feel any reluctance to ask wonky, granular questions. And I appreciate your coming here today, but I appreciate your service and the fact you come back into government at this level and put up with a lot of challenges through a very, very difficult couple of years. You're to be commended. Last year in Colorado, we enacted bipartisan legislation that requires our transmission utilities to join an organized wholesale market by 2030. And obviously, we're pushing the potential to promote grid reliability and efficiency. Hopefully, it will lower costs. I think there's great opportunity to lower costs in rural parts of the state. The Department of Energy's budget establishes wholesale electricity market technical assistance and grants program. And I was just going to ask you if you could talk a little bit about how this program could help Colorado and other western states voluntarily explore their options with respect to these wholesale electricity markets.
Yeah, we would love to see a Western regional transmission organization so that the states in the West that are now have individual markets might be able to share generation of energy among each other. I mean, if there is an oversupply of solar in Arizona, for example, and a need in Colorado to be able to ship the electrons across through a regional transmission organization that would also prioritize cost, it could lower cost for people who are in that region, as well as supply clean energy, and just make better bulk purchasing decisions. They have these regional markets, of course, in a number of places in the country, and I think the West could benefit from it too.
We will be applying for some of the technical assistance. And it is, if you think about it in terms of, as a metaphor for as world trade, the more trading you do with more different countries, basically everyone gets benefit if you can.
Right.
Keep people's tempers down and make sure everyone gets along and has the same forward vision. There's great benefit to collaborating like that. Let's see what the. I wanted to hear a little bit about you put a lot of effort into the R&D in terms of the effort to get to net zero by 2030, and I just wanted to hear how that so much R&D is. I support it 100%. In other words, I believe that we've got to continue investing in the research on every level if we're going to address climate change successfully and make sure that people don't get killed at the pump when they're filling their gasoline tanks. How's that going? Is the R&D, do you feel you're still on track to get to net zero by 2030?
Yes, I mean, by 2050. But yes,
2050.
We have put forth a number of big goals in terms of cost reductions for clean energy, for example. So we've launched a number on the R&D side of earth shots. One earth shot to reduce the cost of hydrogen, of clean hydrogen, for example, to $1 for 1 kilogram within the decade. Same to reduce the cost of carbon dioxide removal, atmospheric as well as terrestrial. We've launching this earth shot on long duration storage to reduce the cost of long duration storage by 90%, and that, of course, is utility scale storage, which would make wind and solar essentially baseload power if we could crack the code on that. We've launched goals to reduce the cost of solar and wind to just pennies per kilowatt hour. Same thing with offshore wind. So if we're able to continue to move down these, and there's all sorts of there's all kinds of research going on the continuous improvement and taking them to scale, which is partially what the bipartisan infrastructure law allows us to do, is to take some of those ideas to scale, right, so that we then can continue the downward price on cost for everyday citizens.
Right, that 2030 was you were going to reduce the cost of solar by 50%, I think.
Correct.
I conflated those two things, but all these goals, I mean, I think that the efforts and the focus that you're bringing to that is probably some of the most important work that's being done to address climate change anywhere. So again, Godspeed. I've got a bunch of other questions. I'm out of time, so I'll yield back my 16 seconds
Thank you.
back, but I will submit the questions separately.
Very good.
Thank you.